Hello and welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith and I am actually surrounded by monsters. Yes, that is correct. We are in the mansion. We have a deep one who's close to William York, and we have a cultist who recently popped out of nowhere. Actually ended up coming through this tile area right here and ran into this room here into the hallway to confront Father Mateo. Now, in the last couple of videos, we actually been doing okay with taking out most of the enemies that have come at us, but now we've got two to deal with. William's in pretty decent shape, so only got 2 damage on him, although he has a paranoia condition that we want to remember. It says, whenever you end your turn within range of another investigator, flip one horror face up. So when his turn ends, that's going to be something that's going to cause a problem. However, he has no other horror to flip up at this moment, so that's good news for now, as long as he doesn't get any further horror. In terms of Father Mateo, he's got 3 sanity damage against him and 2 health, but nothing's flipped up yet, so that's a good thing. Also, just because of the way the game plays, you're not really supposed to know where technically the sanity is, so I'm just going to kind of move these around a little bit, even though that was a really poor shuffle, just so that I don't know which one's which, because in the last video, of what I remember, I was able to flip one. So there we go. So we got everything all set up. We've still got Wither, we've still got Candles, we've still got Brass Knuckles. This is actually a pretty solid, attacking with Brass Knuckles actually isn't a bad equipment card at all. You probably should start using that. He probably could do quite a bit of damage. Maybe this is the time to do it right now. So essentially we are beginning the scenario where we left off, and here we are. We're in the investigator phase. So for this investigator phase, we've got options here. Now let's take a look real quick at our monster drawer to see kind of any damage. Now from the last video, you can see the deep one has a health of 5, the cultist has a health, sorry guys, the glare there. 3 is the health for the cultist, and we have 5 for the deep one. So neither of them have any damage on them just yet. But we're gonna have to focus our energies on taking them out. The cultist is probably the best one, or I don't know, in this case we really do have our, I don't know if we'll be able to get rid of both of them, but we can certainly put some hurt on one of them. So what I'm going to probably do is I'm going to have William York. What can he do? Let's have him. Now we got to remember this paranoia condition. I do not want to be within range of another investigator. So just so you guys understand how that works, the door, and most of you do, I'm sure, but the door here blocks the range. So technically, even though I'm right next to Father Mateo, I'm actually outside of range. Range would be within 3 of essentially these types of breakages and tiles. So in other words, if I was in the hallways somewhere, as long as I was within 3, then I would be dealing with that. But because I'm in a separate room altogether, I'm not considered within range. It's kind of an interesting mechanic that this game has that I think is kind of odd, but also interesting and works really well. So, what should we do, guys? Well, we probably need to attack. So if we started with him and we just said, let's go after the deep one and hit him as many times as we can, I'm probably going to go ahead and do an attack with a broken bottle. Now, the broken bottle card does have a 1 damage hit, so that's not a bad one to do. It's not a very strong hit, but if I do it twice, I might be able to take him out. So let's do an attack on the deep one. And we're doing it with a bladed weapon because that's the broken bottle. It says you quickly close on your foe and direct a slash across its stomach. Use your agility 3 is what our agility currently is. And it also says that we get to, well, that's pretty much it. We don't have anything else to bump that up. So we get 3, but we're looking for 2. Now I don't have any clues with William York right now. So that makes things very, very difficult. So let's see what happens. Oh, no problem at all for William. He's doing pretty good. So if you pass, your blade leaves a bloody gash in its wake. The monster suffers damage equal to the weapon's damage plus your test result. Perfect. So we get to bump this to 3 because our actual broken bottle card is a 1 damage, and we rolled 2 successful elder signs, jumping it up to 3. That's great news. So his attack was successful. Now here's the next thing. I could choose again to attack the deep one to get rid of it, and I think I'm going to. So I'm going to make my second action an attack just to be 100% positive. I just want to make sure, and I probably should know this by now. The attack action, yeah, it looks like you can do, yeah, let's just do another attack. I don't see any reason not to. So Another attack here going against the deep one. We're going to be using our bladed weapon again. So this one says, you swing your weapon in a wide arc, intending to strike at your opponent's unprotected side. Use your agility again. So again, we're using William York's agility, which is a 3. So we're hoping to land something pretty deadly. Look at that, guys. 2 again. Insane. If you pass, you catch your foe in the shoulder, badly injuring the arm on that side. The monster suffers damage equal to the weapon's damage plus your test result. Guys, that is 6. Or 6 total, because it's 3 more onto the 3 we already had. So we confirm that William York has done his job and wiped off the deep one from the board. That's awesome. So he's cleared up that complete room. That's great news. And it really didn't take any damage from that attack whatsoever, which is incredible. So now we get to move to Father Mateo. Now he's got that wither ability, which is a really powerful attack. So we could use that from distance. The thing I don't like about using it is it does tend to hit your sanity, and also that could cause things to flip. It could cause a chain reaction to flip cards. That may not be the best idea right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a move action so that we can get closer to the cultist. So we're not in the same space as the cultist, so we can move into him. And we were using, and again, you can always move up to 2 spaces. So the first move is going to be used to get close to him. Then I'm going to break up my move action to do an attack. And then later, if I successfully attack and I want to move away, I can, but I'd have to evade him unless I kill him, which I don't know if I'll do, but we'll try. The cultist doesn't have as much health as the deep one did. He's only got 3, so it's possible I could pull this off. So the question is I think I'm going to go with the brass knuckles. I've never actually used them yet. It says roll 2 additional dice when attacking unarmed. So let's do an unarmed attack against the cultist as my second action. So we're going to go down here to attack unarmed. You dance in and out of your opponent's reach with your heart in your throat. Throwing jab after jab, you get your agility +1. The monster suffers damage equal to your test result. That's amazing. So my agility probably isn't that high. Actually, it's a 3 for the priest. He's pretty agile. He gets a +1 on the check just from this alone. So that means that he's up to 4. And then on top of it, it says roll 2 additional dice while attacking unarmed, which is incredible, giving me a total of 6 dice. I don't even have 6 dice. So all I need really is just... well, whatever I get for successful results is what I'll get for damage. So here's hoping we get 3 Elder Signs. Oh my gosh, we got a ton of those. Now, what I could do is I do have a light source. Now, technically, I have 1 more roll because I've rolled the 5 dice here. So I'll roll for my 6th, and it's nothing. So this is what I have to work with. Now, yes, that is bad because I have no clues, but I do have this card, and maybe this is the right time to use it. I don't know. But it's candles. It says you may discard this card to convert all your magnifying glasses to Elder Signs while casting a spell. Interesting. So when it says, when casting that's too bad. I have to be casting a spell. Oh, I didn't realize that. That's too bad. Shoot. Okay, so that didn't pan out as I planned. Okay, so then, yikes, that really didn't pan out how I planned. So what I'm going to do actually is now that essentially ends, it says the monster, so nothing happens in the attack. So what I have left over, now that I've used not only an action to move in with the cultist, I attacked him, I still have the ability to move 1 more. I could move back out here, but then I'd have to evade the cultist. If we choose to evade the cultist, we have to go through a particular check that involves the fact that he just fell over and passed out from my amazingness. No, the fact that he has a 3, this is something I'm going to be doing, guys. I know this is really bad. I haven't glued these to the bases yet, but I will be doing that in the future because it's some of them just don't want to stand up at all. I'm going to replace him because he's being a pain. I'm going to bring another cultist in. Okay, so the cultist evade values up here in the top right, or top to the right essentially, and it's a 3. So just so I do this correctly, I'm going to take a quick peek at the rules because I want to make sure for the evasion that I do this accurately. But my guess is that we're using the agility. Yes, so we are doing an agility check, and I just need to get that many in order to evade. That's going to be interesting because if I don't end up doing it, if the investigator forfeits his action, he loses his action. Interesting. Okay, so yeah. So eventually, okay, I'm doing a check that's actually an evade right here. So let's do that. He's in here. I'm going to try to evade. So I'm going to do an evasion. Now the evasion triggers because I'm deciding to try to move. So you have to do the evasion first. It's not considered an action. It's considered a result of an action, which is like move or anything other than attacking. So I'm going to evade. It says resolve an evade check. Yes. The cultist leaps into the air attempting to tackle you. Use your agility and you get 2. We're going for 2, sorry. So let's try to see if we can get away from him. So the agility of Father Mateo is 3. So we're going to roll 3 dice. I don't have anything that can boost it, sadly. And I'm looking for 2. Let's see if I'm agile enough to get away from him. Just barely. So I definitely didn't pass that. And there's no clues in my hand, so I cannot. If you fail, the cultist collides with you, pushing you to the floor, suffer 1 damage, and forfeit your action. Shoot. So that is going to be 1 damage face up. So that is a minor injury. So the cultist tackled me, gave me a minor injury, which is only a flesh wound. It says resolve immediately, no additional effect. Flip this card face down. So this now goes into my pile of wonderful damage. So I don't even know. I'll have to shuffle that in between videos because it's obvious that I'll know exactly where those are. But anyway, so that's good. Perfect. Okay. I mean, that's not good. What am I talking about? Yes, guys, that's perfect. I was tackled by a cultist and I'm now hurt. That's great. No, that's not great. So that's essentially the end of my investigator phase completely. So we had William did his job and got rid of the deep one, so that's a plus. But it looks like Father Mateo is having it rough and he's got the most pain coming against him. So we're going to end our, close the drawer of enemies here. And now we're going to go ahead and end the investigator phase. Moving into the Mythos phase, the most fun phase of all. So this one says, and sorry guys, I'm just realizing now that that there's like quite the reflective glare off this. So maybe what I'll do is I'll bump this up on more of an angle like that. There we go. Okay, so it says for a timeless dreamlike con. For a timeless dreamlike con, William York wanders through a perfect world where nothing, not even donuts, tastes right. William York suffers 2 face-down horror. What the heck is he? Doesn't even make sense for a timeless dreamlike con. Interesting. Okay, well, so essentially I'm going to go ahead and take 2 face-down horror. That's no good. Oh, shoot. And, oh yeah, and paranoia didn't trigger in the last round, or at all at the end of its turn because good thing he was in this room still. So I got 2 face-down horror of sanity. So it's technically 3 total, 2 health. And we go ahead and hit continue, see what else nastiness is going to happen. The cultist moves up to 2 spaces to be in a space with as many investigators as possible when it attacks each investigator in its space. So essentially the cultist is already here. He's already ready. He's already engaged. He's going to be going after Father Mateo. It says he moves up to 2 spaces to be in a space with as many investigators as possible. Well, there's 2 right here, but he's the first one in line. So he's going to be attacking Father Mateo. He's going to attack. The cultist swings his staff wildly about with great fervor and little skill. Suffer 2 face-down damage. Your agility negates. So I'm going to go over here. We know our agility is 3 because we've been rolling it like crazy. And let's see if we can be quick enough to avoid his wonderful staff. Not quick enough. So I'm going to take 1 damage because I was able to negate 1. So I'm going to be suffering 1, and it says face-down damage. So this is going to go into the pile. So now he's got 6. Now this is bad because he can only handle a total of 6 damage on him. So we're going to have to do some healing next turn. We're going to go ahead and hit continue. It says each investigator must resolve a horror check against the monster within range with the highest horror rating. After all horror checks have been resolved, tap the end. So just so you guys understand, William York is out of range. He's in another room. So this cultist is only going to affect Father Mateo. He's having a rough go. So there will be a horror check against the priest. And it says the cultist's wounds peel back. That's gross. We're exposing rotten muscle and frail bone. Suffer 1 horror and then will negates. Then flip 1 horror face up. Nasty. Okay, so I can try to negate this with will. My will's 5, so that's great news. So I get to use all of the dice. Now, it says I'm only suffering 1 horror. So I got a really good chance to block this, but what happens is I can negate the horror, but I can't negate the face-up horror flip. That's the nasty part of this one. So there we go. We negated the extra horror, but now we have to flip one of these 3 up. So I'm going to do a quick little jostle of these 3 again, just because I actually don't remember which one's which. So I'm just going to kind of shuffle them around a little bit, because I honestly don't know. This is kind of awkward to shuffle 3. And we got minor shock. Minor shock. Ah, your heart races and your breath catches in your throat. Resolve immediately. No additional effect. Flip this card face down. Awesome. So nothing ended up happening. Thank goodness. So just so you guys are aware, what I'm going to do in between videos is I will shuffle these decks because it is very difficult to do that while I'm doing this playthrough with one hand. But I could always, I can't always shuffle all this stuff together in between videos. So I'll make sure to do that. As well as William York's and as well as the discards from the previous rounds to get them back in, because you're supposed to shuffle them back into your pile. So then this one is done, and we'll go ahead and hit continue. There's no more horror checks to resolve, so we can end the Mythos phase like so. And that's it, guys. We're back to the investigator phase. That is essentially the end of the round. And hey, I mean, we don't have a deep one here anymore, so maybe this next round will be a little bit more productive. We need to get some healing done on Father Mateo. He needs to do his best to maybe try and unlock that cabinet he was looking at before. If I remember correctly, this was a, what was it? The desk, oh, it's a desk drawer that was locked and it had a combination. So we need to jump in there maybe and get whatever's inside. Hopefully it has some health or something that can heal him. That would be awesome. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. I am. I think it's great. The game's fun. If you do like what you see, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you enjoy it. And also, please subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate all the feedback, so keep giving it to me and let me know if I missed anything. In between this video and the next, I'm going to be shuffling everything. I'll be shuffling these, everything, so that I don't know where anything is, and then also bringing all the discards back into the decks. So we'll be ready to go in the next video. Thanks again for watching, and as always, keep rolling solo.